What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to an album reaction. Holy fuck, haven't done this in a extremely long time. So I'm really looking forward to today's video. This is something that it's almost like a reality that we all manifested in our own heads, right? Like Avril Lavigne's first album had so many incredible pop punk moments, and even though it was more of pop punk in the mainstream way, right, radio friendly, it was such an amazing thing to like be a part of. And I remember when she first started, and like she was my first girl crush because like she's at a skate park filming her music video. Like it was everything that I could possibly want, and I remember falling in love with her at that time. Now, she has done a lot of things in her career. She has done a lot of different genres. She's tried a lot of stuff. She's seen success in several spots. Those albums I'm not very familiar with. The last album that I checked out from her, I actually did an album reaction to, and that was Head Above Water. That album to me was very, very deep. I mean, she was going through a lot for a while, and that was her opportunity to come out and like talk about those things in a very like powerful way. That album definitely doesn't get enough credit. I don't see a lot of people talk about it, but I do feel like it was a very powerful performance from her, something that I didn't know that she did. So I was very happy to check that out. But today we are getting that moment that I've talked about, that I've wanted for a long time, and that is Avril Lavigne doing a pop punk record. Now, this is definitely going to be just based off the songs that I've heard, this is gonna be like a real fucking treat, because Bite Me and All I Wanted were so good. We've also heard her collabs that she's done. Everything's been fucking spot on, right? I'm not gonna do those two songs on this album reaction because I have full videos to them. They're like 12 minutes long each, so that's like a much more in-depth look into those songs. We're gonna focus on the 10 that I haven't seen here. I also want to say that I'm proud of her for like, you know, starting out in this genre, spending all this time doing all this other stuff, and then feeling okay and ready and confident to come back to like the music that you really loved. And honestly, between her and the team she has around her, they're doing a really great job at nailing a very timeless sound. So I'm very much looking forward to this. Before we get into today's video, I just want to plug my Patreon. So obviously you're watching the album reaction here on YouTube. Thank you for being here. It's going to be chopped up for copyright. There's going to be sections of the song taken out. It's going to skip around, things like that. It's just the way that it has to be done. So I do a full uncut album listening party over on Patreon. So what's up, Patreon? If you're watching this over there, I don't cut anything out. You get it all. You get it all. We listen to all the songs together, comments on everything. I know that a lot of people tend to like that because, again, it doesn't jump around. It's a little bit more of like a hangout vibe. Hear my thoughts and opinions and see my reactions to all the songs. So if that's something that you're interested in, I love you. Thank you. That's why I'm able to do this. The link is in the description. It's $5 a month. You get access to the other 70 albums that I have on there, as well as all of the behind the scenes content I have for so many different artists. So all those things out of the way, I'm hyped. We're going to start right here with Cannonball, and I already know it's going to be good because I was trying to make sure that everything was recording, so I pressed play for just a second, and I heard 2 seconds of a guitar riff, and I already knew that this was the album for me. So this is Cannonball. Oh my god! Heavy emphasis on the punk right here. Okay, this right here is actually what I want to hear throughout this album, because it's very easy to make a generic pop punk album. It is one of those things that the riffs are pretty much the same, right? Generic pop punk can be made. It can be done over and over again, but these little change-ups in genres, these little shifts in kind of what we're getting with these different moments, like this to me is what is going to set this album apart from just any pop album, any pop punk album. Oh! Oh my god. Those guitar scales right there. This reminds me so much of the Veronicas right here, which I'm fucking stoked about because that band is so sick. God, the fucking drums on this. Oh, these fucking typical Travis Barker fashion. I'm just assuming that he's doing the drums on this. I know that he's like a big part of what she does in her career now. And there's so many like characteristics that he uses like and that he's used throughout his career. And it's so cool to hear so many of them in one song. Oh my god. You got the woes in the back, you got the fucking drum fills that are excellent, and honestly, Avril Lavigne, it just like drives throughout this whole track. If this is gonna be the way the rest of this album feels, this is gonna be my favorite Avril Lavigne album. And that's hard because when you think about the first album and just how iconic it is, I think for me, being able to see that progression, and again, going through all those steps in your life that like will pull you away from different elements of music and kind of like, you know what? Fuck it. She's done albums that I feel were more to chase that radio success that she had in that first album. And to do so, it was a little bit shifting of the genres to do that. And that is just the way it is in the music world. Unfortunately, it hasn't always been the way where you could just do whatever you wanted and get successful. Having said that, because so many artists now can either self-produce or work with whatever team they want. Record labels are a little bit more lax than they were, I'd say, when Avril was coming up. She's able to do a genre that I can tell just by her delivery that it's something that she really appreciates and really loves. She was like always one of the coolest fucking people, right? Despite the pop songs and all the other stuff that she would try to do and get good success with too. I'm not like downplaying her success, but like to be able to see her do that return to form and get back to a style that I know she loved because of the love of making it and actually be able to have success off that too is really fucking cool. And you hear it so much in this song. I think she works so well with Travis Barker drums. I think he just does a really great job of inspiring the people around him. So this next track, I don't think I've heard this. It's Boys Lie featuring MGK. As we know, MGK is definitely part of a huge part of the current pop punk movement. So let's do it. Woo! Her tone is just so good for this genre. So there's just those artists out there that it doesn't matter what style they do, there's a version of them that always exists within like a certain style. Avril's vocals are so like perfectly fit for pop punk. It's like if we think about the band 5 Seconds of Summer, I will always talk about how Michael Clifford has a voice that he can do whatever they're doing at that time, whatever the sound is, but there is always a heavy influence of that like emo and pop punk there. I mean, there's so many artists that I could just start naming off that have that appeal. She has that with that higher range. It's like her voice was made for this style. Again, it's just another nerdy reason that I'm stoked that she's back to it. Woo! Yes! The pop punk harmony! I'm losing all my patience. God, you make me anxious. You know, it's also like pretty fucking admirable that like they don't just make the style, but they're so good at creating the lyricism around this. Like super relatable topics that you can play over like super energetic instrumentals. Like that is what makes this genre so fucking cool. And I just love this. Also, I get that a lot of people don't like MGK. Like I see that a lot on the internet. And yes, there are times when I think MGK maybe does some things, but you know what? It doesn't really matter. My opinion on him definitely comes from the fact that he is the forefront of the commercial success of this genre. And I will go on to say that though I will never downplay like the Tumblr era pop punk bands, they reached somewhat success, like somewhat of a success, but not commercially successful. And it's why I think not a lot of people feel like they've heard this sound in a long time. It's been around, it just wasn't very popular. So when an artist like MGK literally puts his entire career of like being a hip hop artist and just like puts it to the side and puts a pop punk album out that ends up going number one, you don't have to like the guy. And I'm sure he doesn't give a fuck, but you don't have to like him, but you have to respect that what he did in that, whether you like the sound or not, doesn't matter, because now people are being exposed to this music again and they're excited to see other artists do this again. And MGK really is the dude who did that, like for this era. And, you know, I will always respect that.
My patience. I don't do that fake shit. I threw it all away again last night. My sweet tooth, boys cry.
It just feels like the summer.
Boys fly, and girls fly too. Girls fly too.
Ooh!
Girls fly too.
Okay, this is a great mix right here. This is one of those songs that I don't know if it only came out on this album or if it was a single, but I'm shocked to hear that it wasn't a single. I think that MGK's delivery in this song is so on point, just like making his style very well known. I like the way he enunciates his words. It just like fucking takes me back. I think that him and Avril swapping off like that works really well, especially because she's got that higher range. She's able to bring that energy in. And really where it all comes together is those la lies that are kind of happening with the harmonies, especially with those like heavy palm mutes and stuff. Like, this is fucking good. Like, this is the kind of shit that people are going to grab onto. So I don't know if it was a single or if it just came out. It's got 1.7 million plays on Spotify. But like the singles have like way more than that. So I'd be shocked if this doesn't end up getting its own video, just because like, I mean, that's a great name to have on a track too. Like MGK is running this shit right now. Okay. We've already did a full video on Bite Me, so I won't check that out yet. I purposely skipped this song so that I could listen to it on the album. So I'm pretty excited. It's Love It When You Hate Me featuring Black Bear. I'm only like a tiny bit familiar with Black Bear. I know he does like hip hop, but it has like sort of like a alternative kind of sound to it. So I'm stoked to see what they do here.
I'm a lush, and I'm drunk again off another crush. Don't feel too much. And how about
Can we just be so stoked that Avril is fucking doing this? Like, it's so fucking sick.
you just take some blame? I always take all the pain. Fall for you every time. Don't call me baby. I love it when you hate me. I know.
You ever think about, like, listen to the lyrics in this and you think to yourself, like, wow, especially, like, this is, like, the kind of shit you're jamming in high school, right? You ever, like, put yourself back, you're like, wow, I'm, like, not very compassionate to myself. Like, I'm gonna, like, be okay, or I'm not happy when this relationship is happy. I need to make it toxic somehow in order for it to, like, give me that rush. That is, like, just fucking such a topic that seems to be ongoing when we listen to, like, some of the pop punk and some of the more breakup alternative anthems. It's like, we are just asking for some of the most toxic relationships because we thrive in them.
Highs, the lows, the yes, the nay, baby. I love it when you hate me.
face me. I've been so depressed, I don't think anyone could save me. But you can still be pretty on the inside too.
Fuck.
Your heart's so cold, but I love the way you lie.
Even in that chorus right there, I mean, in that verse right there, it's like, I should have seen the red flags, but like, it's you. So I'm fine. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna let this happen. Even though I'm running out of fucks to give to you, I still need to be around the colder that you get because it makes me love you more. I gotta say, hearing Black Bear in this style is actually fucking dope. Because you can hear his influence on the instrumental as well. While we've got the pop punk elements that we love from Avril, we are also getting that like alternative, almost like trap style that Black Bear does. The fact that they combine those in right here. But another thing that's interesting, and again, I don't know a lot of Black Bear's music, but Black Bear kind of changing his cadence up, his vocal style just a little bit to have even more of an emphasis on the punk side of it. Like that kind of delivery is cool. I like when there are collaborations like that really feel like both artists understand each other and know how to make like that song at the end just fly. So this is already dope, though it's toxic.
Nor all the warning signs fall for you every time. Don't call me baby. It's the loves, the yes, the no's. You're so hot and you get cold. Don't call me baby. I love it when you hate me. Nor all the warning signs.
Yes, Avril, fucking get it.
You every time. Don't call me baby. I love it when you hate me. I know it's crazy.
Oh, I want to go to Warped Tour again so bad.
The highs, the lows, the only baby. I love it when you hate me.
Oh boy. You know what? These collaborations are just so good for this album. It's just like a good mix of some of the OGs. Obviously we've got Mark Hoppus on here. But having Black Bear and MGK on here, two people that, you know, Black Bear does a little bit more of a hip hop style, though it does have a very big alternative inspiration to it. Just hearing her working with these artists is fucking, it just makes me so happy that she has had this very long-standing career and is able to pretty much like go right back into what she loves and the execution be this good. Now, yes, there is more to it than that because I know that Mod Sun is involved in this, though I don't know much about him, so I don't really know what all he does. And Travis Barker, and these are people also that have such like a big like part of why this genre is just thriving right now. Her on this song and Black Bear on this song, again, utilizing each other's energies and personalities to try to like combine those things, even though this song is super short, because of course it is, because of the genre. I just feel like I got so much personality out of both of them in this. Again, yeah, lyrically, it's toxic. You definitely be with somebody that you like to be with because they, you know, it's a happy environment. Don't willingly go into these toxic relationships. Then you're gonna wake up my age and be like, fuck, why did I let these people do all this fucked up shit to me? Oh, because when we were fighting, I was turned on by it. And that's probably not a good thing. That's toxic. So that's toxic. Stop it. Okay, this next song is called Love Sucks. SUX.
Tell me, are we done yet? Tired of being nauseous.
Haha.
Was it worth what it costed? I am exhausted. Yeah. You're overrated. Nothing. You got
I hope this is about the look at this photograph guy. I still can't believe that was a thing. Oh, we're talking about one of the coolest people in the world marrying one of the uncoolest people in the world.
when I think of you, I just wanna throw up. I don't wanna get up. Lying in my bed, thinking love sucks. Not another breakup. When I think, call it bad luck. Why does love suck?
Oh,
Stupid.
you know what? What a good narrative of this, because there's a lot of truth in that, even though I think the lyrics are written in a way to be a little bit more fun. There's a lot of truth happening there. She even says like, when I think of you, I have to try to act tough. Like it's almost like you have to be like, no, fuck him. Like, I don't like him. I don't love him, all this stuff. But you know that deep down you actually do. And so it's like this really shitty feeling of being in love with someone that you can't stand. Again, kind of going back to that love it when you hate me, except in this one, it kind of seems like Avril really is in the feelings of it.
With my exes, this is my confession. Never learned my lesson. No, your mouth just wanna throw up. No, I don't wanna get up. Lying in my bed, thinking love sucks. No.
So well written though.
When I think you gotta try to be tough. Why does love suck? Let's play a game of tic-tac-toe. I'ma go and make all my exes say yo. This is for the time that we dodge a bullet. I'm better off than yeah, I know it.
I love her vocals so much. Wait. The harmony. Woo! Woo!
Why does love suck?
Okay, I'm here for this song because it is one of those songs that if you are fucking feeling terrible, if you have this just terrible breakup that you're going through, or this person that you're really into is just like the fucking worst, and like they don't call you back, they don't want to hang out with you. One, don't give them any more attention. But if your heart is just absolutely obsessed with this person, this is the song you want to sing at the top volume with the windows down in your car. And Avril and team made sure that this song was so memorable and gave you plenty of chances to work on your gang vocals in the car, because you've got these wonderful harmonies. You've got this really great melody in that chorus, that na 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 na. Like, you can do that for just about fucking any song. And as long as like that buildup is real and that chorus drops, like, this is the kind of shit you want. And the entire narrative of this song is going through all those emotions of dealing with love. So yes, she may have downplayed it by saying love sucks, SUX, like love sucks. And the lyricism itself, it's not like some crazy story and all this stuff. What we're getting here is, how do I get this emotion into as little words as possible to make sure that people can scream their heart out to it? And this is it. I kind of love this. I kind of think that this is one of my favorite songs on the album already, just because it's got that very playful yet talking about real shit feeling that I've kind of always gone to this style for. So yes. All right. Kiss Me Like the World is Ending. Let's go. Oh, wow. God damn. Oh, shit. I love the modern sound that this has. I could hear the song being played at Warped Tour so loud, just like those guitars drop and you got just fucking bouncing all over the stage of energy. It's really cool. I don't know if I know that she plays some instruments, so I don't know if she helps in putting together these instrumentals. But it's really nice to hear that whoever like is like sitting in the room collaborating to put these instrumentals together with the band just has their like ear to like what's current or like what was really popular. Cause this again kind of takes me back to that Tumblr era sound, like not like the heavy depressive pop punk, but like a lot of these bands that were kind of around in that time. And she's executing this so fucking good.
The one that controls it on my last day. All I wanna do is look you in the eyes and fall asleep right next to you.
Aww.
Starshine for the two of us. So sweet and mysterious.
Woo!
Got a question, baby, truth or dare. Spin the bottle, I'll be waiting there. Yeah. Kid, after we die, so kiss.
Woo-hoo-hoo!
Just like the world is ending.
Let's go! No! Come on!
Me, one last perfect memory. I don't
Woo!
want to say goodbye. Let's meet up after we die. So send it, kiss me, just like the world is ending.
Okay, well, I'm gonna be shocked if that doesn't end up being a huge success on this album as well. I think that hearing her in this writing style, definitely like an emotional moment in like a positive way. She just loves this person so much and just wants to have that moment in that relationship or in that possible relationship that just feels so close that like it'd be okay if life ceased to exist after that moment. That is obviously a kind of love we all strive to have, right? Like that person that you see a meteor coming down, you know that this is it. Like it's over. Shit's about to blow. And you like, fine, I'm just going to have this last kiss with this person. And I think that like it can be cliche at times. Like, you know, obviously they've made movies about this. They've written plenty of songs about this. But the reality is that is such a strong emotion of love. And I think that it's done so well over this instrumental. Like I do feel like this, again, modern sounding, like so good, just fucking so good. And her delivery of this is amazing. Yeah, I'm just going to be shocked if that song doesn't end up being like a major single. So whatever. Yeah, this album just came out. So like there's a decent amount of streams for an album like this that just came out. So I'm hoping that more of these songs do get picked up, because that would be cool to see a music video to as well. Listen to me. I didn't even like music videos before. Now I'm like looking forward to them. Okay, this next track is Avalanche. Oh, little acoustic banger? Little acousty?
What do you do when the hero needs saving? Honestly, I can't shake it, shake it, shake it. Yeah, honestly, I can't take it.
Fuck.
I say that I'm just don't feel okay right now. No.
I'm gonna say it every single time an artist does this and uses this lyrical topic. I'm going to say it. Thank you. So many people that feel the same way tend to end up, you know, into sounds like this, into bands, artists that kind of sound like this. And I know that like music was all I had when times were so fucking bad. And when you can hear a moment like an Avalanche, Avril is straight up admitting that, you know, she doesn't always feel great as well. And sometimes she needs that help too. And she can put on the smile and act like everything's fine, but inside it's not. So many of us can relate to that. And, you know, there's going to be so many people that get to hear this, especially like, again, like the younger generation, kids in junior high and high school, which, you know, were some of the worst years, right? Just getting to know that like this person that you look up to and that you're like fucking so stoked to support goes through those things and wants to like make sure that you know that you're not alone. Like that means a lot.
It's like I'm running from an avalanche.
Oh,
It's like I'm running from an avalanche. It's okay. No. I feel too much. My blood is rushing.
Ooh.
Ask about me, I'm quick to change the subject. Yeah, honestly, I can't take it. I say that I'm just fine, but I don't feel I'm right on the inside.
Oh my God, the drums are so heavy right there. Ooh. Oh. Woo. God damn. Okay, so this is definitely the most like complex song on here so far as not only the writing style of it, but that instrumentation as well. I feel like that instrumental was so big, really built up everything it needed to for this song. So Avril, I'm so glad she's singing about this and singing about it in such a candid way. And I love the metaphor of it being an avalanche, because if you think about it, the more that you don't admit when things are bad, the more that you don't talk about it, the more that you don't kind of put that out there, it builds up, right? Like it creates this mountain. And it's like every time you feel bad, you just throw a little bit over there. Over time, it builds up to a point that you can't manage it anymore. It is fucking, it owns you. And then you get to a point where Avril is in this song where she's having to run looking over her shoulder because she's afraid that there's this mountain of how she really feels and what she's put to the side and like not addressed for so long that it is going to come collapsing down, and she's running full speed to get away from it. I learned in therapy a long time ago that it's okay to not be okay and to admit that you're not okay. Like, I know that it's, you know, everybody struggles with this, but obviously, like, from my perspective, there was always this like narrative over men who have mental health issues. And so because of that, so many men never admitted that they weren't okay. It was like looked down upon, and it's like there's no recovering from that, right? So when I finally got help, my therapist was like, listen, you have to be able to admit to yourself and to the people that are closest to you, or to everybody. I mean, hi, but you have to be able to admit it when things are bad, because when you do, you're not letting it pile up back there. You put a little bit out there, and then you're kind of having to look at it, and then you're assessing it, and you're telling yourself, you know what? This is how I feel today. I'm going to take a mental health day. I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to go have a nap or go watch The Office for fucking the next 24 hours, and realize that when you kind of like vocalize that something is wrong, it already makes it feel just a little bit better. It doesn't fix it, but it makes it a little bit better. And that little bit is a huge difference for people who struggle with these things. I always respect when an artist that I love and appreciate talks about this stuff. I know that this kind of shit saved me and helped me. That means that somebody is going to just be very happy to hear that Avril being candid, and this isn't anything new. I mean, Head Above Water was a really deep album for her, but you know, this is a very approachable album because of the genre and kind of the target audience for it. So thank you, Avril. It's fucking dope. All right, this is Deja Vu. God damn. So heavy. God. Those like gang chants with harmonies like that are literally one of my favorite things ever. This is a layered vocal right here that is so good. God. Can I just say that, like, you know, she's such an amazing vocalist anyways. Again, I do feel like she has a very unique style to her voice. I'm just so thankful that she's choosing to do this, because it's so awesome to hear somebody who sings so well in this genre, and to bring like every little piece of characteristic that I would want out of these songs with a voice like that. Like, we're so fortunate right now. We don't deserve this, but we will gladly keep it.
I saw my love wasted. I've seen this all 1,000 times. Am I insane? Expecting you to change. It's the same thing over and over again. Deja vu, over again. Deja vu. Deja vu. Deja vu.
Okay. So while I don't think we've all been in this situation in regards to, word for word the way that Avril has, unless some of you have been dating some celebrities out there, in which case, congratulations. Avril is talking about this person that has all this money, all this fame, glory, lives in a castle, but they're really just an asshole. They kind of have all these like wonderful things, Chad Kroeger from Nickelback, and yet they don't seem to ever like change their ways, because in reality, like what are they going to change? Like, this is who they are. Sometimes these people can put on a really great front to get you like hooked, and then they show their true colors and the reality sets in that like, this is not a good place for me. I don't need to be here. And every time that I'm going to try to leave, this person tries to buy me back with money and with jewelry and with experiences and like all this stuff. And like, people have always, think of J-Lo, love don't cost a thing. Like, the reality is, yes, I do feel like to some people, there is definitely a financial aspect to relationships, but I think that like real true love definitely can exist without all of those things, which is why when I think back to the song Kiss Me Like the World Is Ending, that is real love. Because when the world's ending, none of this shit matters. Nothing we do matters. But like spending that last moment with somebody is going to be more valuable than anything in the world. So she's with this person, and this person keeps managing to like fix these band-aid their relationship with all of these external things. But the truth is, like, she's living the same day over and over again, essentially, because this person never changes and continues to get worse. We've had these situations in our lives. Maybe not with somebody with a castle. Avril Lavigne buying a Range Rover to run somebody over. Like, that is fucking dope. But I feel like the first couple relationships in life, or that relationship that you've been in for way too long and it hasn't been good, this is what that's like. It's like you fight, you talk, you say you're going to fix things, everything's going to be fine. 2 days later, something happens, you're fighting again. It never ends. You're always walking this thin line of maybe breaking up, but the person that you're with, or you could be the person too, but you're always trying to, well, what can I do right now that I know will band-aid this? Like, I know that this person really loves flowers, so I fucked up. I'm going to go get them flowers. Well, that's great. And the flowers mean a lot, except that if you're getting flowers 4 times a week because you're a fucking dick, then at some point, the flowers aren't going to mean much. It's like you can put flowers on an ugly dick. It's still an ugly dick. You know what I mean? Like, there is a point where these things aren't going to matter. And I just love that Avril is just fucking bringing so much energy in this. So many great crowd vocal moments. This is an album that I can't wait to see either in person, live, or some sort of live footage from it, because I think that there is a level of intensity that she's got and energy. And I think that, like, I want to capture that in a live setting. All right, this next song is called F You.
There's no point in talking shit, but I'll still say this clearly. You used to drive me crazy, but I don't feel nothing lately. And I think we're done here, maybe. You're not listening. I try to tell you about it.
Oh my God.
Scream and shout and hate it, but it's true. I'm fucking over you.
Oh, yes. I think this is my favorite track on the album so far. This one in Love Sucks. I love this because she's doing such a great job pretty much painting a picture of what the end of that relationship kind of looks like, especially the one that we're feeling from Deja Vu. I feel like we're still kind of talking about the same person. But you get to a point where, like, yeah, this person does something, you feel anger, you feel rage, you feel all these things, and then they show up and they want to, you know, make out, and suddenly you feel lust and you want these things. You know, with that relationship ended, this stuff still happens. There are lingering feelings. However, there does get to a point when you start to feel nothing at all. And for you, that's great, honey. Time to move on. But for the other person, that is the coldest you'll ever be, because you finally realize that I don't give a fuck what happens to this person. I'm done. I am over it. And she painted such a great picture of that.
Every time I talk to you, you're not listening, you're not listening. I waste my breath on you, you're not listening.
You can hear that Canadian coming out of her right there.
You about it, I yell, scream and shout it, hate it, but it's true. I'm fucking over you. All this time, I thought one day.
Yes, let's go.
All this time, hoping we'll listen. All this time,
Love those layered vocals.
this time.
Woo! Stage dive.
Every time I talk to you, I try to tell you
Woohoo!
I yell, scream and shout it, hate it, but it's true. I'm fucking over you.
Fuck.
I'm fucking over you. So fuck you.
Oh my god. To end it on "So fuck you" with a laugh, like, there is a lot of real shit going on in that track. This is my favorite song on the album, hands down. Because I love the fact that she's hitting so many like great moments of this narrative of kind of putting this picture together. While at the same time, like, getting to the point where, like, I feel nothing, and now, like, you're just annoying me, so fuck you. I'm fucking over you. I'm not wasting my breath on you anymore. I'm not gonna keep trying to have these conversations with you. They mean nothing, and they definitely mean nothing to me because I don't feel anything about this anymore. But now that I'm annoyed and irritated, fuck you, get away from me, laugh at the end of the song. That combined with this instrumental, which was definitely much heavier than some of the other songs we've heard. This is great. This is the breakup anthem that so many people need in their lives. Like, this is important. You need to be able to address when you're finally over something and just be over with it. It doesn't matter if feelings get hurt. In the long run, if you just continue to try to fix things, but you don't care about that person, you are hurting someone's feelings. You may not realize it at that time because it seems like they're happy. They're not. And when you're over it, get the fuck out of there. I love her for this song. It's so good. Okay. All I Wanted, I have a full video to already. I did a full video to that song. It was like 12 minutes or something, so definitely go check that out. So then the next track is Dare to Love Me.
I try to let down my guard, but I cover up my scars. Yeah, there's no denying. It's not that I don't care, it's just I'm fucking scared. It's terrifying, cause I know it's a slippery slope.
I'm so glad she's doing a piano ballad on this.
Hope down. Why's it gotta be this hard? Just only tell me if you care, tell me if you care, tell me if you care about me. Only tell me if you dare, tell me.
Okay, not gonna lie, I'm actually stoked to hear the sound on here because her in like any kind of ballad style like this is gonna be fucking great, right? But I also love that in this sort of piano ballad sort of moment that we have right here, while we're getting a very vulnerable side of Avril, she's still staying true to those punk roots in the delivery and the little vocal like styles that she's doing, and sort of the lyricism here where this isn't the same kind of piano ballad we would have heard on Head Above Water, but the essence is the exact same. It's just that the musical side of it is shifted just a bit. Again, this is fucking dope. This is, yeah. It's also a good change up because there's a lot of punk rock on this, which I'm glad about. But this second half of the album has definitely had a lot deeper of a sound, like a deeper of a feeling. It's like we started out kind of like fucking high energy, fuck this, blah, blah, blah. And while we kind of got that in FU as well, the narrative definitely started happening in a little bit darker of a way, or a little bit more of a real way, like pull the shades back and let me show you how I really feel. So to have this piano ballad on here fits perfect.
I've been going with that you love me if you don't mean it. Don't say another damn word if you don't believe it. Only tell me if you care, tell me if you care, tell me if you care about me. Only tell me if you dare, tell me if you dare, tell me if you dare.
Woo!
If you dare to love me.
Oh, she's still got it. She's fucking so good.
If you dare to love me. Stay by my side, would you love me? Would you still love me?
Oh my God.
Tell me that
Her-
you love me if you don't mean it.
Her best vocals are happening on this song.
No, don't say another damn word if you don't believe it.
And those layered vocals again?
Only tell me if you care, tell me if you care, tell me if you care about me. Only tell me if you dare to love, if you dare to love me.
Avril, girl, why are you doing this to us? Fuck. This kind of song is so fitting on this album because the reality of everything we've been listening to up to this point is that we got a lot of emotions, man. Like, we all fucking feel a lot of things. We got a lot of shit that we feel, that we like deal with on a regular basis. And it's so fun to get that high energy. It's so fun to, you know, play a really fast drum beat, stage dive, and forget that moment for a second. But the reality is, once the song's over, the pain is still there. And what I love going through this track list is that we end up on Dare to Love Me, and hearing her in a more familiar sound, like hearing her in this, like, you know, piano ballad, little bit like deeper, very well produced, like best instrumental on this album. And I'm saying that in a way of being put together because obviously I'm gonna be drawn to some of these guitar riff heavy, perfect drum moments, but there's something about this song that just, I can tell that it's really special, and I can tell that it meant a lot to her. You can just hear it in the vocals. I feel like you're getting a very vulnerable and raw side to her. Again, something I heard in Head Above Water anyways. I was really drawn to that she was doing in that. This is just that moment of like putting your heart out there and just saying, like, you know, pretty much despite all of the things we've talked about in this song, it's problems I've struggled with, and it's insecurities I have towards relationships. It's all these things that have led me to this ballad moment where, you know, I'm scared and I don't want to be hurt, and I don't want to be like played with. I don't want to be treated like a game. I really want somebody who, when they say they love me this time, I know that it's real. I know that they mean it, and I know that I can trust them. You got to be broken a lot to get to a point where this is where you're at, because you start to lose hope and faith in love. You start to lose, you know, kind of like the reality of being with somebody that is going to enhance your life. Because that's what relationships should do, right? Like, you shouldn't be in a relationship that takes away from your life. You should enhance it. And I think that just her having that vulnerable side to her, it's just like, it is delivered in such a beautiful way here. So I'm just like really glad to hear this. Yeah, she's fucking so good. And also, these are her best vocals on this album, like hands down. That's how I know that she really fucking means this shit right here, because you took some of my favorite genres and you just did these amazing jobs with it. But then you get to this song and this is the one that I'm drawn to. Come on. Okay, last song, Break of a Heartache. Avril, please do Punk Forever.
cry like that. I don't wanna feel that bad. I don't wanna feel another wreck, another strain, another bruise, another break of a heartache.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Not this time, motherfucker, so I guess it's goodbye.
Okay. We got a lot to talk about here. So let's just start with this track, I should say. It's so funny to go to all that shit I said about Dare to Love Me, and then we get into Break of a Heartache. Like, style changes, lyrical concepts change, delivery changes, and it just goes to show that there's a lot of diversity with Avril, especially throughout her very long-standing career of doing a lot of these genres. I just like that it ended kind of on this lighthearted note, even though it's not lighthearted. I mean, reality is you've been through so much pain at this point that you are not dealing with anybody anymore, because there's going to be nothing worth the heartache that you're going to feel, the pain that coincides with having to go through this again and again and again. You're over it. So that out of the way, I will say I hope that she continues to do punk. Like, regardless, you want to do another pop album, please. Like, please do whatever you want to do. But don't forget about us, because I gotta say that this album is actually way better than I had anticipated. And I know that's weird coming from me. I'm pretty optimistic about most things. But I was just a little bit concerned originally when I heard that she was putting the album out. I was stoked more than anything. But I was concerned because I was like, okay, what are we gonna get though? Like, are we gonna get like these two pop punk songs that we heard as singles, and then it's going to be like a different style? Would have been fine. But in my head, I was really hoping, and this is the problem, you should never get expectations. I was really hoping that we were going to get a full pop punk project. We did. So that's what we got here. I have to say that hearing Avril Lavigne, after all the things that she's gone through, after all the success that she's had, come back in true form and give us this album, I have to say that it's one of the coolest things, because I feel like this is what the first album probably would have sounded like if she was already friends with Travis Barker or something. Like, I feel like this would have been the first project. Now, the downside to that would have been that I don't think she would have had the career that she had. I don't think she would have been as successful, because this style is fucking incredible. But like, there were a couple heavy hitters already doing it around that time that ended up getting super successful. She ended up doing way better by doing the pop, mostly pop, mainstream pop punk crossover that she did with her first album. It just like skyrocketed. It was so good. You know, while we were listening to the Sum 41s and Good Charlotte and Blink-182 and stuff, all those things, obviously amazing fucking bands forever. But when she was on the scene, she was on like all kinds of radio stations. So that first album really worked. And I'm so glad that a path worked out for her to be able to go through her career the way she did, deal with her health issues, which was really fucking scary, be able to come out to the other side of it, surround yourself with people that have also been in the industry, that have gone through things, that all kind of had this vision of what they wanted the newer generation of this sound to be like. And for someone like Avril to be able to be a part of it, like, it's fucking so cool to me. And it's inspiring just to see that, like, one, it doesn't matter how like old you are, it doesn't matter how long you've been around, it doesn't matter what you've done in the past. What matters is that, like, where's your heart now? And you know, as I get older, I often kind of like struggle sometimes because I don't feel old. I don't necessarily look old. But I get older, and you know, the things that I'm into sometimes I feel like are going to forget about me. And I'm really glad to see that this has so many streams, because the world never forgot about Avril, and we never forgot about her in this setting. This is that fantasy that so many of us had in our minds when we first heard Skater Boy and Complicated, that one day we were going to get this. And so it's really cool to get a chance to hear that. Now, lyrically going through this, I love that Avril sort of, I'm going to say this and then it's going to make sense when I talk about the other song I'm going to talk about. A lot of these lyrics are very much like dumbed down, right? So I know that Avril can write. I know she can write very well. But here's the thing. Let's say I'm this amazing lyricist, right? Let's say that I typically do hip hop, and I'm this amazing lyricist. But me and my friends got together and decided we were going to do like a pop punk band. Whatever lyricism that I would do for like a hip hop song or like a pop track, I wouldn't do that in a pop punk or in a punk band, because I want to stay true to the roots of that genre as best as I can. Well, other than like a handful of bands, like Bad Religion, I don't want to use a bunch of like big words, and I don't want to use a bunch of lines that end up like being a novel. These songs are, you know, roughly 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes on average. I want to be able to get my point across in the best way possible for this style. If I'm going to go make a metal record, I'm going to write lyrics that align more with that style. The reason being is that when I'm making that based on the genre, it's not just about the sound, but it's about the entire experience. So it's very interesting to hear that she did so well on this. I know that, you know, judging by the credits, Mod Sun, Travis Barker, her, and John Feldman, they're all kind of working together on this. That's why I would say Avril and team. But the reason that works, and the reason that I bring that up, is because then you get Dare to Love Me, which Dare to Love Me is totally opposite of that. It's extremely heartfelt lyricism that feels very big. It felt very world building, atmospheric, kind of like on that level of what I would assume like a huge major release would do when it comes to lyricism. And of course, I listened to Head Above Water. Again, I keep bringing that up, but it's important because that style is very different from this. And so right away, when I talk about the lyrics, the reason I'm doing that is because I love to see that she can take her writing style and adapt it to the sound that she's doing. And I think that when people go into these genres, that's very important to do. Like, I love the crossover. I love the experimentation. You can do whatever the fuck you want. But if you want to get someone like me who's so stoked to hear somebody doing this genre, like really stoked, do it the way they did it on this album. You gave us Dare to Love Me, which I already know that Avril is incredible, and she absolutely crushes that song. I think it is the most beautiful song on this album. But the rest of these songs were me getting Avril Lavigne spilling her heart out in the most punk rock way possible, and it working very, very well. The collaborations on here are amazing. Again, MGK is the forefront of fucking pop punk right now. Him and Travis Barker are like waving the flag, but now Avril just put herself right up there as well, because this album will definitely stand up to those. I will say I'm going to be interested to see what the reviews are of this. I don't give a fuck what the reviews are, but I want to see them because I want to see how people are taking this album. Because for me, I take it as somebody who appreciates punk, who has some friends that grew up around punk rock and also work in music, and together they made a punk rock album, and it works. Like, people can do this and it can flop. I feel like this will not, and so because of that, I want to see what people say. But anyway, so MGK, that is a great collaboration there. Black Bear, I actually really enjoyed that. I feel like hearing Black Bear with Avril was something that was really dope. I loved hearing Black Bear switch his style up a little bit. I know we didn't look at it on this video, but All I Wanted with Mark Hoppus, yes. Like, absolutely yes. Otherwise, I just feel like the replayability of this album is so high that I already know that I'm going to be listening to this album way too many times. The track list is pretty short. The run times for these songs are very short, which I'm a fan of because, I don't know, I feel like when you listen to this genre, it's what you expect. And so the intensity is high, the energy is high. What I'm mostly looking forward to now is hearing some live versions of these and actually seeing some live versions. I think Avril really has something great here. It's got a lot of momentum, I think, right now. And to get a chance to see her perform this live, or actually get to go live and see it and fucking stage dive, those are things I'm really looking forward to, because it's kind of everything I wanted. Now, I know she's doing the When We Were Young Fest, and good for her. I'm so glad this album is coming out before that, because I think that when she does that festival, people are gonna fucking lose their minds when she plays some of these songs. I just feel like there's something so just like big about having Avril just be so fucking punk like we always knew she was. Yeah, I don't know what the rollout looks like for this. I don't know if there's going to be more music videos. I do hope that there is, because again, like I was saying, MGK is kind of the top spot here. Avril just put this album out, which I feel is going to shoot to the top based on this genre as well, which means more people are going to be getting into this, because what happens is you get the slippery slope where you listen to MGK or you listen to Avril, and then you're like, holy shit, you know, maybe you've never really gotten into this genre before. So you listen to this and you're like, this is so dope. Then you find Jaden, because Jaden's another one of the up and coming like dudes in this genre that is doing a mix of like trap inspired pop punk with like alternative moments and like a lot of fucking lyricism, like things that are super relatable to a lot of people. And then you start diving even further, and before you know it, you're listening to Fat Records, which is like No Effects, and I mean, they've put out so much music that like it'd be dumb, no use for a name to sit here and name them. I'm not going to. Millencolin, and so Lagwagon. Anyways, so you start diving down and you start hearing all these bands, and before you know it, you're, you know, fucking my age, sitting in your home office, and when you're done, you're probably gonna, you know, put a record on from a band that, you know, definitely inspired Travis Barker to do the drums at some point on this record. Like, to me, there's something so beautiful about the culture surrounding like punk music and pop punk. And even though there are a lot of people out there that have so many opinions, don't listen to them. I think that people want to have genres that they find really difficult to get into so that no one else listens to them. But the reality is this: some of my favorite bands don't exist anymore because the genre that they chose to do, while they loved it and they fucking were giving their entire lives to that genre, it never gained any popularity. And none of this is about the money, but personally, if I really love a fucking band, I want them to have success. I want them to sign to a record label that lets them tour the world. I want those things. And as a genre dies off, record labels are less likely to want to take a chance on that. So having big names like this reviving this genre, I don't give a fuck what anybody says. This is extremely important. And if you love this style, then even if you hate this album or you don't like Avril Lavigne, that's fine. But you need to appreciate that when bigger artists are doing this, everyone in the genre benefits somehow. No, you're not, you know, you don't suddenly become MGK and Avril level, but more people are interested in that music, and therefore you hear that music more often, and more bands that, you know, are inspired to make this feel like there's a place for them in a bigger audience. Because here's the thing, you could love metal so much, right? But just because you love metal doesn't mean that you can't love the idea of playing in front of a huge crowd metal. Think about, you know, all these metal bands that exist, all kinds of ranges of genres. They wouldn't be able to play these massive festivals and like their career being playing metal if not for bigger bands like Cannibal Corpse that ended up, you know, being in fucking Ace Ventura and like putting that style on the map. Or, you know, people talk a lot of shit, but like Metallica being one of the greatest bands of all time and being able to do the things that they did, or fucking Ghost, which is one of my favorite bands ever, even though they get made fun of so much, they are able to have that stage and have those moments because artists before them and bigger than them like made a space for them. Like, Avril is not only doing herself a favor, MGK is not only doing himself a favor, but he's doing something for an entire fucking genre. And I get so tired of seeing that on social media. Like, get the fuck over it that it's not true core whatever because, you know, oh, they're just ripping off Teenage Bottle Rocket and they're, dude, whatever. Like, I'm just stoked that somebody's doing the fucking sound, and I'm just glad that I get to enjoy it. So, rant over. But I wanted you to know my opinion on this. I really hope you guys liked today's video. It has been so cool getting a chance to see Avril thriving in her element. I do hope that, you know, this is a short album. I hope that she's already got more stuff going on in the works, because just hearing her in this genre is great, and I want to be able to hear more and more from that. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Let me know in the comment section what you thought. Like I said, make sure to check out Patreon, because I do the full uncut album reaction over on Patreon, which means that I didn't cut anything out. If you're watching this on YouTube, it probably chopped up. I cut a lot of the songs out. The reason being is, you know, copyright and pacing. So come hang out for the hour and 20 minutes that this video is over on Patreon, and we're gonna vibe together. I appreciate all of you so much. Let me know your top 3 favorite songs in the comment section below. Love you. Peace.